Did you know that some of the world's most essential inventions were developed over 2,000 years ago by the brilliant minds of ancient Rome? From sophisticated aqueducts to revolutionary medical devices, join me on an eye-opening journey as we uncover the top 10 Roman inventions that transformed the course of human history. They say that all roads lead to Rome. Yet roads and highways are just one of many inventions that we can thank the Romans for. The twin sons of Mars, Romulus and Remus, are credited with founding Rome, one of the most powerful empires in history, in 753 BC. Rome expanded from a modest town on the Tiber River in Italy to a vast empire that eventually ruled over the majority of Europe, Britain, Western Asia, North Africa, and the Mediterranean islands, covering an area of close to 1.7 million square miles. The result of ancient Rome's long and wide-ranging existence are a number of inventions, many of which we still use in our daily lives. Number 1. Aqueducts. The Romans mastered aqueducts. Aqueducts were constructed by the Romans to transport fresh water from nearby sources into their expanding towns and cities. Aqueducts were utilized by earlier civilizations in Egypt and India, but the Romans were the ones who really perfected the technology. A dream for modern environmentalists is that technology-enabled water transportation from the source to the point of use using little more than the power of gravity. The technology-enabled water transfer from the source to the point of usage using just gravity is the stuff of modern environmentalist dreams. The aqueducts were linked to a large water storage facility, from which the water was then sent to public baths, fountains, farms, and other locations. Even in 312 BC, what may now appear simple was a great engineering achievement. Roman aqueducts are still widely used today because they were built so well and with such thoughtful design. The ability to construct and maintain these facilities was quickly lost with the fall of the Western Roman Empire, causing many post-Roman states in Europe to go back hundreds of years in terms of sanitation. Such systems wouldn't emerge until more than 1,000 years later. Certain systems would still be in use today, such as the Cloaca Maxima in Rome. Number 2. Newspapers. While the Romans did not invent the contemporary system of daily newspapers, they did have something akin to it. They frequently wrote news and current events on papyrus or wax slabs that were left in public areas. Acta Diurna, or Daily Acts, was the name of this journal when it first appeared in 131 BC. This Roman invention served the same function as contemporary newspapers by informing Roman residents of military victories, births and deaths, as well as human interest stories. Occasionally, scribes made copies of the Acta and distributed them to local authorities as sources of knowledge. After a few days, each would be removed from public locations and archived for later use. Later, emperors utilized the acts to publicize royal or senate decisions as well as court events. Unfortunately, there are no surviving fully intact copies today. Number 3. Sanitation. Sanitation, another critical Roman invention, is still important today. Romans were experts in the field of civil engineering. Yet they weren't just skilled at creating big things like the Colosseum or roads. Their sewage and sanitary plumbing systems highlight their engineering prowess even though they may appear less visually attractive. They were built using a combination of masonry, early concrete, and, in some cases, lead plumbing. The water ran off streams and was drained through associated drainage pipes on a regular basis. Romans made sure the streets were free of human waste by using covered gutter systems and public restrooms. This improved the aesthetics of large population centers and drastically enhanced public health. Number 4. Surgery tools and techniques. Romans weren't just about swords and spears, they also created fine medical instruments that had an impact on many contemporary surgical instruments. Certain instruments, like the vaginal speculum, didn't undergo significant design changes until the 19th and 20th centuries. Romans also made use of modern-looking forceps, syringes, scalpels, and bone saws that were produced by specialized producers. Leaders were curious to explore how these gadgets may assist soldiers on the battlefield in addition to employing them at hospitals or medical facilities. Some Roman armies employed a trained chirurgus, a medic trained in surgery, to staunch blood loss, remove arrows, sew up wounds, and administer medicines. Roman authors also contributed to the development of some of the oldest treatises on medical practices, most notably Galen's work. His work would prove so revolutionary that medical practitioners would use him as a reference for hundreds of years. Number 5. The Postal System. In or around 20 BC, Emperor Augustus instituted the Postal System. It was a state-mandated and regulated courier service known as the cursus publicus. because officials had to travel over long distances. It also carried communications and tax money between Italy and the provinces. The required photos and messages were obtained and delivered from one region to another using a horse-drawn cart known as urde. A mounted messenger could go 50 miles in a day, and because of their extensive network of well-designed roads, the ancient Roman postal system was successful and continued to operate across the Eastern Roman Empire until the 6th century. Number 6. Concrete. Despite being viewed as a relatively recent invention, concrete has a fascinating and lengthy past. While not technically invented by the Romans, they improved upon older techniques to make an incredibly versatile and robust building material. They combined cement with volcanic rock, popularly known as tuff, to create a hydraulic cement-based substance they called concrete, meaning grow together in Latin. Test results show that the Pantheon's 42-meter-tall concrete dome is still remarkably structurally sound today. Even more astoundingly, it is still the biggest unsupported concrete dome ever constructed. Number 7. Roads. The Roman Empire formerly stretched across a huge territory. Such a vast territory needs a sophisticated road system to oversee and govern. Roman roads were built using mud, gravel, and bricks made of granite or solidified volcanic lava, and they eventually developed into the most advanced network of roadways the ancient world had ever seen. Several of these roads are still in use today. Engineers use strict architectural guidelines when building notoriously straight roads with banks and sides that slope to allow rainwater to flow away. The Romans had constructed about 50,000 miles of roads by the year 200, mostly so that the Roman legion could travel up to 25 miles each day. Travelers were given signposts indicating how long they still had to walk, and special military units patrolled the roads. The roads made it possible to transmit information more quickly, in addition to the intricate network of post houses. Number 8. Bound books. Writings were often either scrolled or etched into wax slabs throughout the Roman Empire. As you might expect, these manuscripts were brittle, difficult to keep, and difficult to move. Julius Caesar ordered a collection of papyrus to be bound into a codex in place of a scroll, which could be up to 32 feet, 10 meters, long and required unrolling to read. This gave the information security a safer and more manageable approach to be maintained. A table of contents and index could be used because the codex could carry numerous volumes, had a built-in cover for preservation, and the pages could be numbered for easy reference. Early Christians made extensive use of this Roman invention to create Bible codices. As Christianity expanded to other regions, the bound book also did. And the rest is history, as they say. Number 9. Arches. Although arches have been around for almost 4,000 years, the Romans were the first to use them to great use in the construction of bridges, monuments, and buildings. Massive Roman constructions like the Colosseum were prevented from collapsing under their own weight, thanks to the arch's clever design, which dispersed the weight equally along multiple supports. By flattening the shape of arches to create what is known as a segmental arch and repeating them at different intervals, Roman engineers were able to make stronger supports that could span wide gaps when used in bridges and aqueducts. Together with columns, domes, and vaulted ceilings, the arch came to be recognized as one of the distinctive elements of Roman architecture. Number 10. The Julian Calendar. The Roman calendar, which predates the Gregorian calendar by more than 2,000 years, is very closely emulated in the current calendar. Greek calendars that follow the lunar cycle are probably where the earliest Roman calendars got their inspiration. Yet, the Romans later changed their calendar such that each month had an odd number of days because they believed that even numbers were unlucky. This practice persisted up until the establishment of the Julian calendar system in 46 BC by Julius Caesar and the astronomer Sosigenes. The number of days in a year was increased from 355 to the now familiar 365 by Caesar, who also eventually added the 12 months as we know them today. The solar year was off by 11 minutes in the nearly flawless Julian calendar. The calendar was ultimately inaccurate by several days as a result of these few minutes. Due to this, the Gregorian calendar, which is virtually identical, was adopted in 1582. This calendar corrected the mismatch by changing the timing of leap years. The ancient Romans were not only remarkable builders and conquerors, but also inventors whose creations continue to shape our lives today. From their innovative aqueducts and roads to their sophisticated architecture and military technology, the Romans revolutionized the world in ways that we can still see and feel today. As we marvel at the engineering feats of the past and reflect on the lessons that history can teach us, we can appreciate the enduring legacy of these remarkable people and their enduring impact on the world. The Roman Empire may have fallen, but its inventions and innovations will continue to shape our lives for generations to come.